So I want to start by reading a quote from one of my favorite teachers and authors, Pema Chodron, When Things Fall Apart. And this is a book to definitely have by your bedside during times like this. And she writes, "Life is a good teacher and a good friend. Things are always in transition if we could only realize it. Nothing ever sums itself up in the way that we like to dream about. The off-center, in-between state is an ideal situation, a situation in which we don't get caught and we can open our hearts and minds beyond limit. It's a very tender, non-aggressive, open-ended state of affairs. To stay with that shakiness, to stay with a broken heart, with a rumbling stomach, with the feeling of hopelessness, that is the path of true awakening. Sticking with uncertainty, getting the knack of relaxing in the midst of chaos, learning not to panic. This is the spiritual path. This is the spiritual path. This is the spiritual path. Right now, what we're living together. This is it. So I want to acknowledge that we are in heartbreaking times. We are in very hard times. And this doesn't mean we can't laugh. This doesn't mean we can't celebrate. This doesn't mean we can't be happy. All of those things are needed and necessary, as is the acknowledgement that we are in dark, challenging times. We are in a healing crisis around the world. I'm here in the US. I feel really called to be in the US and the mess that it is. We're in a crisis here medically, politically, economically, and all of us emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and some physically. And as the Chinese symbol for danger depicts, it's really two characters, crisis and opportunity. Within crisis is tremendous opportunity. And some of you may have my book, The Book of She, which talks us through that, the individual map for transforming crisis into opportunity and just the stages of letting go and rebirth and working with our mind and our inner child and all of these pieces. That same template can be expanded out to the macro right now. So any tools that you have for healing individually, for healing your own mind, your own heart, your own spirit, your own body, can now be expanded out for the collective, for the macro. And just like with a splinter, if you've ever gotten a splinter and it goes in really deep, too deep to use tweezers or sharp object to get it out, you just need to trust the body's healing capacity, that splinter will start to slowly rise to the surface. There is an innate drive within each of us and within the universe for healing and for wholeness. We're always moving in that direction. So things often get worse before they get better. It's always darkest before the dawn. And healing is a messy process. And what has happened for the majority is this wanting to sweep things under the rug. Grief, greed, fear, our mortality, the fragility of being human. We sweep the things that we don't want to feel, that we don't want to see, that we don't want to acknowledge under the rug, and we think, well, I'll just deal with those later, or someone else will deal with those later. Well, guess what? They're all coming out now, and it's up to us to deal with them all.